Perfectionists don't like to make decisions. Why? Because we don't want to make the wrong ones. And everything is a potential and probable wrong one in our brains, right? You might be procrastinating. If you're like, I got to wait until the fire is under my fanny to get it done, it's because you need it to be perfect. And I can't make it perfect when it's days in advance, but I can make it perfect when the fire's under my fanny, right? Anxiety. So guys, perfectionism and anxiety hang out together. They're buds. They are buddies. And they work in a circular motion. It's like the perfectionism dysregulates your nervous system and makes you anxious. And then the anxiety has you looking for all your imperfections, which further makes you anxious. Hey, I'm Brooke Jean, therapist, recovering perfectionist, and struggling working mom on a mission to normalize normal. If you're an overwhelmed, high-achieving, and secretly anxious mama, struggling to balance it all and on the brink of burnout, you are in the right place. Here is where we talk about hard things like balancing work and family life, mental health, and how to navigate life-altering transitions. Nothing is too taboo here. In my conversations, I'll teach you how to let go of who you think you're supposed to be in order to create the life you've always wanted. Get ready to embrace your messy, shed the shoulds, and find freedom through a life unperfected. This is the Unperfected Pod. Hi, everybody! Okay, we're gonna play. Hi, Rachel! All right, let me let some peeps in. All right, we are just gonna have a little dance party. Hi, Kim!
Hi.
Excited to see you.
I know.
You guys, we're gonna let people in, and in the meantime, we're gonna have a little dance party. Whoa! We're gonna shake off our day. How we feeling? How we doing? Maybe we can make... Yes. Show your faces, beautiful people. Show your faces. What's up? Don't be afraid to show your faces, you beautiful people. People are like, but we're also working while we're playing on your Masterclass.
I just finished eating a burrito, so this is good timing for me now.
Girl, then you're definitely ready for a dance party. At work and listening in. Beautiful Noah! I'm so glad you're listening in. You don't actually all have to have your camera on. Nobody ever always has their camera on. Oops, I just declined the person who was trying to get it. Hopefully it asks me again, right? All right, guys, move in your body in any way that feels good. Okay, good. It asked me again. There we go. All right, if you're with me, let's bring our arms up, starting to shake. Yeah, shaking out any stress, any anxiety, any tension that we're bringing. Hi, Rachel. Whatever nonsense that happened before this, we're going to go ahead and leave it wherever it was. And we're going to let ourselves be here now. So everything I do, I start with a dance party. All right, let's see who's with us in the chat. Rachel, Christine, Eva, Holly, what's up? Holly and Jenna and Jules and Kim and Leslie and Noella and Rachel and Sydney and Claudia. Okay, so some people got the link and some people didn't. That's my bad. We're going to have to figure that out, and we will. All right, you guys, grab your water. Grab a gorgeous pen, grab a notebook. Let me go ahead and... It's always hard for me to turn down the music, friends. That's just a hard decision for me. Welcome. Hello, my friends. How are we? Drop a 1 in the chat if we're here and we're ready. We're ready to learn some new things. We're ready to apply some new things. Yes. You guys, I'm so glad and grateful that you all are here because... it means that you have already done something really powerful by showing up, by making the space for this, experience, by setting the time aside, by giving your energy. You've already said a powerful yes to yourself, to your growth, to something different, right? And so before we get into the actual masterclass, I want to see in the chat, what's your intention? Like, what brought you here? What brought you here? What do you want to get? If there was one thing that you could walk away with today, what would that one thing be? Drop it in the chat. Ditching old habits that are holding me back. Oh, Kim. Balance. I know about some habits. My trifecta. I can't wait to share more with you guys. All right. Anything else? Any other intentions you guys have? Self-love, getting out of my head and stop overthinking. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Who? Raise your hand if you resonate with that, old chestnut. Ready for a new start. Beautiful. I want to give up old habits and be more present for my family and myself. Supporting you, girl. Figuring out what's next. Leslie. Yes, honey. The pivot. I love a good pivot. I love a good midlife awakening, honey. If you have questions, raise your hand, put them in the chat. I want you to get what you came here to get. So you've already said a powerful yes by being here, by being open, by setting time for yourself. And imagine how we just started, right? Like the sheer glee of seeing each other, of knowing that we're here as women to heal, to become, to rise. We dance, we laugh, right? Like imagine if you could access those inherent parts of who you are every single day, right? Imagine if that was the energy that you got to have and plug into in between your business meetings throughout the day. How incredible would that be? All right, so Perf Talks, guys, here's what I'm going to share with you today. There's 3 main agenda items. Number 1 is understanding and identifying perfectionism. Perfectionism is a sneaky son of a bitch, and a lot of times we don't realize that we're actually stuck and frozen and paralyzed in perfectionism. So you're going to get to know a little bit about what it is, and then what's your flavor. What's your flavor du jour of how it's holding you back? So you can start to understand the roots of your perfectionism. I'm going to give you guys my therapeutic go-tos on how to overcome perfectionism. Okay. So you guys know that I'm a therapist and a coach. So whether it is reframing thoughts or learning resilience, things like that, I'm going to share with you guys some of my favorite go-tos. And then we're going to end with reclaiming inner peace and self-worth, honey. Self-worth. So let's get into it. Okay. So you're in the right place. If you've said yes to this opportunity, you are in the right place. If you're ready to get the heck off the hamster wheel, you are just running, you're spinning, you're overachieving, you're reworking, and you're perfecting. And you're ready to get off that hamster wheel and into clarity, confidence, joy, and ease that yields results that will blow your damn mind. You're in the right place if you're ready to embrace and walk through life owning your worth. Truly knowing and owning your worth, and in a regulated nervous system. What will that even be like? What will that even be like? So for those of you that don't know me, if this is our first time connecting, I'm Brooke Jean. I am a mama of 2. I have a 21-year-old in college, and I have a 6-year-old who's getting ready to go into 2nd grade. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm still on the recovery journey, so I want to make that crystal clear. I'm a licensed professional counselor, I'm a coach, and I'm a host of the Unperfected Pod. And I come from a corporate background. So I went from making myself sick, trying to perfect all the things, to a multiple 6-figure biz owner living her best energy rich life. So my story is, and some of you know parts of this, but I actually got pregnant in college, which was not the family plan. That was not on the vision board, folks. And so realized really quick in college that I was going to have to get a steady, stable job with benefits and upward mobility. I caught my baby daddy cheating on me in my pregnancy and realized I was going to be a single mom. So that fueled my perfectionism and my trauma response even more of like, I have to be super independent, super successful. It's going to be me providing for my son. And so I started my career right out of college with Target Corporation, and I climbed that corporate ladder for a decade. I started out in HR and I got promoted to this like group level training and development specialist. And then I got promoted to be a GM of stores by the time I was 24. And it was, at the pinnacle of my career. So I was running the most challenging super Target in our group. And our group was 11 states of Target stores. And it was an Aurora super Target. And I'm like high potential, like going through all the political things to become a district team lead and all this stuff. And the Aurora theater shooting happened. And I got a phone call at 3 a.m. from my logistics executive who said, Brooke, you need to get down to the store immediately. Most of our logistics team was in the theater and they're unaccounted for. And so what unfolded in those next 72 hours was a community crisis and one of the most traumatic communal things I've ever witnessed and been part of. And also like this thing that number one brought me to my calling so crystal clear. Number two, exposed me to community resilience and a community coming togetherness that I had never seen before. And so I rebuilt our team. We lost a team member in that tragedy. So I rebuilt my team. We're rebuilding as a community. And then I went and got married, right? I waited 8 years to marry my husband. And we sat on a beach in Maui for 10 days. And it was really the first time, guys, that I had chilled the heck out in over a decade. Because when I tell you 10 years went by like this, because I was just climbing the corporate ladder. I was just trying to be the perfect mom. My one day off, I was in the classroom volunteering in CAM school. Every night we have a thing for CAM. Like I was going to yoga, I was working out, I was doing all the things. And before I knew it, it had been 10 years. And P.S., I was coping in really crummy ways. So I would wake up in a shame spiral over the bad decisions that I made the night before. My trifecta was drinking wine, eating brie cheese, and shopping and like not even remembering what the fuck I was buying. So I would wake up each morning in a shame spiral that I did it again the night before, my trifecta, eating, drinking, shopping, probably was short with my husband, probably was disengaged with like the nighttime routine or just not as present as I could have been. So I'd wake up in shame, which would then have me double down on the effort and the perfectionism and the overachieving. And I would hustle twice as hard. And I would go hard the next day. And then I would do all the mom things. I would do all the things. I'd cook the dinner, books, bath, blah, blah, blah. And then I would just do it again. And I did that for 10 years. And then this tragedy happened in Aurora, and I went on my honeymoon. And for the first time, I regulated in my nervous system. And all of a sudden, I started having panic attacks. And all of a sudden, all these childhood traumatic memories started flooding in that I did not recall up until this point, because you see, grief triggers grief, trauma triggers trauma. And so it was at this point, guys, I'm at like the peak of my career. I'm the breadwinner of the freaking family. My husband marries me, and on our honeymoon, I'm like, I think I have to quit my job, because I knew it felt like a midlife crisis, but I now know that it was a midlife awakening. I knew that I was going to need to heal. I knew that I was so lost in my responsibilities, so sick with my crappy coping mechanisms, and I just didn't even know who I was underneath all of these roles and responsibilities. So I left my corporate gig, and I took 6 months off to do yoga and to do therapy and to what I call shed the corporate skin. And then I launched my business because it became clear in the tragedy that I was meant to be a therapist, a coach, somebody who's a lot more deeply involved in the psyche of human beings. And so that was 10 years ago. And then I had my daughter 6 years ago, and I had noticed like a drastic rise in the expectation of the modern mom just from having Camden to having Chloe. I was like, now not only do we need to make dinner, but that shit's supposed to be gluten-free and dye-free and nut-free and allergy-free. And not only, am I supposed to have a size 2 body, but I'm supposed to have like, a shaven face. And not only am I supposed to like play with my kids, but I'm supposed to create sensory fucking games. And now it's all on social media and everyone's comparing and every mom looks like beautiful and like she's nailing it. And I was like, oh, okay, this is not okay. And so it was then that I took a step back and I was like, there's a rise in the expectation of the modern mom that parallels the rise in her mental health conditions. And that's where Unperfected was born. I was like, we're not trying harder. We're jumping off the hamster wheel. We're redefining what good enough means. We're getting to know who we are as people before we were mothers. And we're creating and living and leading from that place. And we're allowed to have it all. We're allowed to have a career and a family, but we got to choose which things that we want to pour into. So that's my story. That's my why. And I'm just out here every day trying to create a life that I don't need to escape from. Okay. So I want you guys to take a minute and close your eyes. Let's go on a little journey together. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, open mouth, exhale to release. Let's take 2 more cleansing breaths just like that. Inhale through the nose, hold at the top, open mouth, exhale to release. Again, inhale through the nose, hold at the top, and open mouth exhale to release. So I want you to imagine in your mind's eye, waking up, and instead of going straight to your to-do list, straight to all the things you coulda, shoulda, woulda done, the first thought you have is, it's another day. And you're a little excited to actually get out of bed. You feel less heavy. You feel less stuck in your bed. There's a little pep in your step. And you wake up earlier than your family because you have prioritized your self-care. And you go downstairs and you make a nice warm cup of coffee. You pour in your favorite creamer and you head out to your porch and you just have a moment. You take a couple deep breaths in, you can smell your coffee, you can feel the warmth in your palms, you can hear the birds chirping, the sky is blue, and you just have this moment of like, wow, this feels so different. Then you open up your phone and you look at your calendar and you like squeal in delight over what you see. You're actually stoked for what you have. You cannot wait to see those clients. You cannot wait to collaborate with this person. You cannot wait to go to that dance class with your neighbor. You cannot wait to go on a hike and whatever it is, you literally look at it and you go, that is the perfect day for me. And now, because you woke up in ease and with positive thoughts and you have this time to yourself and you're pouring into yourself and you're loving what's on your agenda, now you have the time, energy, and sanity to pour into the things that matter most to you in the most potent way possible. Now your connections are deeper, your relationships are more rich. You pause and you're having a moment gazing in your children's eyes. Your creations are more authentic. The way you show up is more grounded and you're so fucking sure of yourself because you know that you're enough, that it's enough, and that you're right on time. So go ahead and open your eyes, flutter them open. And I want you to just take a moment to notice how that feels in your nervous system. Drop it in the chat. What's the one word that you felt engaging in just that 2 little minute process with me? What'd you notice? Is it a little different than what you're used to? Here we go. Relief, freedom, yes, relaxed, yes, 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 yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that's what I'm guiding you all toward today, okay? This is the reality that I've spent the last 10 years of my life trying to create for myself, and I just can't wait to share it with y'all. So let's get into it, babes. Step 1, identifying and understanding perfectionism. Here we go. So what is perfectionism? Perfectionism looks different for all of us. It shows up different, it presents different, it feels different. But the actual definition of perfectionism is an intense drive for flawlessness. It is a critical self-evaluation, and it is a deep concern about others' evaluation. Drop a 1 in the chat if that resonates, if any of that resonates with you at all. An intense drive for flawlessness. Try saying that, you guys. We're not striving for flawlessness up in here anymore. An intense drive for flawlessness, a critical self-evaluation, and a deep concern about others' evaluation. Okay? And so perfectionism can show up like racing thoughts. It can show up like a mean inner critic that's like critical of everything you do. That's not enough. Do it better. Double check that again. It's the voice inside your head after you do a speaking thing or you present something in a meeting or you even do something socially and you go home and you analyze everything that you said and how it was perceived. And did I pick up on the right energy? Like, was that like they were with me in my story energy or they were judging me in my story energy? Perfectionism has you just hyper-focused on your flaws and your shortcomings, which P.S., as humans, we have something in psychology called a negativity bias. So we're drawn for the not enoughness or we're drawn toward the not enoughness. We have survival mechanisms that want to keep us safe by making sure that we are accepted in the group, that we are valuable, right? But perfectionists take that survival mechanism, that negativity bias to the next level, honey. They take it to the extreme. That's another sign that you're struggling with perfectionism. Everything's extreme. It's either my best work or it's not worth doing. I'm either in shape or I'm lazy. I'm either the perfect mom or I'm a terrible mom. That we call that in psychology all or nothing thinking. When you're in the all or nothing traps, you might be a perfectionist. You might be having body experiences of perfectionism that can feel like the racing heart. It can feel like the nauseousness and nervousness in your stomach. It can feel like the tightness in your shoulders, or just that your shoulders are always up. You're like the no neck Nelly. Any no neck Nellies up in here? That heaviness that I was referring to, you wake up and you just feel like an elephant and you can't move. Paralysis analysis. Anybody wake up or not wake up, but go to sit down? I see you, Sydney. I see you, girl. Anybody go to their computer and they like open up and there's like already 44 tabs open, and then you've got your phone dinging at you, and you've got your purse, like you've written out your to-dos, but then you've got your your electronic to-dos. And before you know it, you're literally just stuck and you cannot see the forest through the trees. So you also might be experiencing things like indecision. Perfectionists don't like to make decisions. Why? Because we don't want to make the wrong ones. And everything is a potential and probable wrong one in our brains, right? You might be procrastinating. If you're like, I got to wait until the fire is under my fanny to get it done, it's because you need it to be perfect. And I can't make it perfect when it's days in advance, but I can make it perfect when the fire's under my fanny, right? Anxiety. So guys, perfectionism and anxiety hang out together. They're buds. They are buddies, and they work in a circular motion. It's like the perfectionism dysregulates your nervous system and makes you anxious. And then the anxiety has you looking for all your imperfections, which further makes you anxious. So at this point, it's like the chicken or the egg. Who cares? They spiral all day long. But another way that perfectionism might be showing up is that you spend a lot of time redoing things. It's cutting into your sleep. It's cutting into your productivity. It's cutting into your relationships. You're staying up late to finish things. You're wanting to look at it 14 times before you hit publish. Any other ways that perfectionism shows up for you, drop them in the chat, okay? But what I want you to know about perfectionism is that it's rooted in not enoughness. It's rooted in lack. Refolding laundry, my kids fold. Rachel, yeah. My husband, I load the dishwasher and he reloads it. And I'm like, why did I even try? I'm just going to leave them for you next time, sweetie. Perfectionism is born out of fear that we're not enough, that it's not enough, that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we're not skinny enough, that we're not lovable because we're not enough. And so when you think about how many messages that we received growing up about, do this different, get straight A's, your backstroke wasn't good enough. Think about, so there's something in psychology called conditioning, which is basically 0 to 12. We are absorbing messages from our caregivers, from our coaches, from our teachers, from the adults, from media, from advertising. We're absorbing messages about what it means to be good, what it means to be bad, what it means to be a good girl versus boy, a mother, a wife, a community member, a spiritual person, a strong athlete. We're learning what it means. And so depending upon the caregivers that you grew up with, perfectionists often have parents that had very high standards. It was never enough. It was like you had all A's and a B, we focused on the B. But perfectionists also sometimes have caregivers that didn't have standards. And so kiddos can sometimes go the opposite. They can swing the opposite way. Like, my parents didn't have any standards, so I'm going to have extreme standards, right? So here's the 10 signs. All I want you guys to do, we're already kind of talking about it. I want you to, as I'm saying them, I want you to write down the one that really sticks out, the one that really resonates with you. Number 1, you set extremely high standards. Number 2, you're seriously concerned about other people's perceptions of you. Number 3, you procrastinate. Number 4, you suck at celebrating. So you don't celebrate how far you've come or your accomplishments because you're always on to the next thing, right? It's like, oh, I had my first $10,000 month. Now I need to go straight to the 20. Or it's like we just don't celebrate because we keep raising the bar. That's what we do as perfectionists. You have a deep sense that it's not enough. I'm not enough. It's not enough. There's never going to be enough of me to go around. You have a mean girl inner critic. You spend countless hours redoing things. You had a critical parent, teacher, or coach. You're in a trap of unhealthy coping skills right now, where you've tied your worth and your value to your output. And so with this one, I love to ask people the question, like, if you didn't have the job that you have, what's your worth? What's your value without what you can produce, without what you can provide? That helps you understand if you've associated your worth and your value to your output. So what I want you to do for now, guys, is just to make a note. Like, okay, so this is how it's showing up for me. This is my place that I get to start to add some coping skills, add some awareness, become more curious about it, notice my behaviors around it, okay? And so there are some consequences of perfectionism, obviously. You guys probably wouldn't be here if you didn't already feel it. Like I said before, number one, perfectionism dysregulates your nervous system. Perfectionism comes from the belief that I'm not enough. Your beliefs become a lens that you see the world through. So if you have a subconscious core belief that you're not enough, that's your perception. Like that's what you're looking for out in the world. And P.S., you will find what you're looking for. But if your belief is I'm not enough, then the flavor of your thoughts are going to be I'm not enough, which are unpleasant, which are negative. Those unpleasant thoughts release hormones that we label emotion. So if you have the thought that I'm not enough, or you're comparing yourself because you're not enough, or you're looking where you're falling short, whatever the flavor is of the day, you're dumping your system with adrenaline and cortisol. And that hormonal surplus we call anxiety. We call irritability. We call rage, frozen, stuck. You guys picking up what I'm putting down here? And then we're supposed to take action from that place. So your beliefs flavor your thoughts release hormones that we then label feelings, and then we take action. Your feelings heavily influence your action. So your perfectionism is just this like neurobiological slew of what feels like anxiety, right? So also you have this thing in your brain, it's called the RAS, the reticular activating system. Drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard what this puppy is. The reticular activating system, it sits on your brain like a hairnet of neurons, and it filters what information you're receiving into your conscious awareness. Okay, so we get 11 billion bits of information into your receptors a second, 11 billion bits. So we obviously aren't consciously aware of all the information that's coming at us. We can't be. So you have this thing called the RAS that filters, oh, that's important for Brooke to know. She needs to pay attention. You know, her husband's energy, her kids' moods. We need to pay attention to this. And so it filters, it makes sure that that information makes it into your conscious awareness. How does the RAS know what's important to filter? What we pay attention to. How ridiculous is that, you guys? So if you're always paying attention to your shortcomings and your flaws and your not enoughness and how the world sucks and the world is scary, guess what you're creating? You are creating more of that reality, because all the scary stuff already exists in the world, just like all the beauty and the good and the gold exists in the world. But you're turning the lights on and illuminating your not enoughness because you've told your RAS that that's more important to you, and energetically, that's what you're resonating with. So do you see why this affects how you feel? You poor thing. You're walking around the world looking at your flaws. Therefore, you're going to see more of your flaws, and you're just dripping in cortisol and adrenaline, feeling like shit. And then like, why can't I just strong arm my goals? You're not broken, babe. But we've got to manipulate our own like neurobiology here. If you start to choose to see your enoughness, you will find more of it. When you're looking at the gold and the beauty of things, you will release serotonin and oxytocin and dopamine. And it's a lot easier to take aligned action in your life when you're coming from that. So perfectionism absolutely affects our mental and emotional well-being. It affects us in relationships because perfectionism has us being something that we're not a lot of the time. Perfectionism has us trying to keep up with the Kardashians, trying to be the leader that, this person is, trying to be the content creator that this person is, trying to be the yogi mom that woman is. How can you connect deeply to someone else who isn't fully embodying their authentic essence? It's an energetic barrier to connection. The more authentic you are, my love, number one, the more powerful and potent you will be. But number two, the more rich and deep your connections will be. So when we unperfect ourselves, we take the mask off. We shed the shoulds. It's like, I don't need to try to be what I'm not. I can lead in the way that I lead. I can speak in the way that I speak. I can dance because I love to dance. I cannot give a shit about the gluten-free, dye-free meals and feed my kid McDonald's. Like, it's up to you, babe. No shame or judgment here. And in career, same thing. Like I did the Target thing because it was the responsible thing to do. And P.S., I don't regret a day of my life at Target. I grew so much. I had so much responsibility at a young age, and I worked with incredible people. And like, I hold them in a high regard. It's just high level pressure on an unhealthy person equals shit show, equals burnout at 33 years old. But I was doing what I thought a good girl should do. I got a steady job with the steady benefits, and I climbed the ladder, and I tried my best, and I was the target, like whatever Target defined as success, that's what I was trying to emulate. So how potent are we in our careers if we're just like doing the responsible thing or the good girl thing? And what might be possible for you when you start to let your pleasure center decide what the fuck you should be doing in your career? Ooh, I know that did something to you guys. I know that did a little tickle somewhere. Like, what could you create when you created from a place of like deliciousness, like your gifts, your bold, who you are, what lights you up, the things that you're curious about, the wrongs that you want to make right, the things that you find yourself just free falling in flow? What if you could find work that allowed you access to that? Not all the time, because that's not realistic, but more of the time. So absolutely affects us mentally, emotionally, relationally, and professionally. Okay. Any questions on that before we move into step 2? Dun, dun, dun. We're going to get into what to do about it. Okay. So if you're feeling a little heavy, like, oh, shoot, I got some things to work on. I have some tips. First of all, you're right on time. You are not broken. We do not need to fix all the things. We're going to shed some layers. We're going to help you feel lighter. We're going to take things in baby steps. That's the unperfected way, the smallest step you can imagine. Okay? Here's step number 1, embracing imperfection, embracing your messy. You guys hear me say this all the time. Guys, would you agree that it's messy being a human? Like being a human in today's society is freaking messy. We're all messy. Every home, messy. Everybody has things. Here's where I remind you that you're human. You're human. So you get to be flawed. You get to struggle. You get to fail forward like the rest of us. You get to make mistakes. You get to try and try again. You get to show up new and fumble through. You get to put yourself out there and be awkward. Like, you're human. Where have we lost sight of the compassion and understanding that we are human, and humans are messy, and our flaws are sometimes, when we change our whole paradigm, our flaws are some of the most beautiful things about us. A lot of times, your messy is your message. Your messy is your magic, even. And so I want you today to make a powerful decision that you are going to reframe failures. You're going to reframe struggle. You're going to reframe imperfection to, look how cute I am. I'm just human. Look at that cute human out there just fumbling through life, spilling her coffee on the way to work, forgetting one child at home, not packing the right lunch, forgetting about the soccer game, lashing out at her husband. Look how cute that human is, just trying to human. If you struggle with this, which hands up, right? One of the ways that you can work through that is to, when you're the way that you're being with yourself, mirror it to the way that you would be with your daughter or your best girlfriend or your sister or your mother or just any MFer that you hold in a high regard, okay? Anybody you love. When they're struggling, what do you say to them? When they're struggling, what are the words? What are the thoughts? What's the energy? It's compassion. It's love. It's support. It's, I got you, babe. It's okay. Let's fall apart together. If you don't know how to do this with yourself, how do you do it with other people? But we have to have a whole paradigm shift around messy. We got to embrace that shit. This is where we just get with what actually is. We get with our gold. We get with our gaps. We get with our shadow. We get with our trauma. We get with our mistakes. And instead of ridiculing them and criticizing them and making them mean something that it doesn't mean, we meet it with kindness, compassion, and acceptance. Okay, it's not that everybody else gets to have flaws except for you. You're not allowed to have any. No. So here's what I want you to get really curious about, and I want you to increase your awareness around. When you struggle, when you fail, when you make a mistake, what do you say to yourself? I want you to write it down on paper And instead, each time going forward that your brain plays that record of self-criticism, of that mean girl inner dialogue, you're going to say, look how cute my human is. You're going to say, I'm doing the best I can. You're going to say, I'm making progress. Progress over perfection. You're going to say something like, it's okay to fuck up. These shifts are powerful because you've had the thought that I'm a failure, and so often that it's become a neural pathway. So it's become a default thinking pattern. And that default thinking pattern releases the hormones that feel like anxiety that keep you stuck. When you start to become aware of that thinking pattern, and instead of just jumping on the train into, hell, you go, wait a minute, pause, dun, 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 dun. Let me take a deep breath. I just said something really mean to myself. Let me now say this. That is powerful. That is disrupting the neural pathways that you have built around not enoughness. And the more that you weaken those neural pathways, you have opportunity to build new ones. Like, I'm enough. It's okay to mess up. Look how cute my human is. But you guys, this is work because you have to start reframing and using these as mantras with consistency and emotional intensity for a lot of times because you've been thinking the negative thought for like decades. And so people are like, this is work. I'm like, it is. But if you were to do this, if you were to reframe, I'm a failure to, it's okay to make mistakes. If you were to reframe that every time for 30 days, next time you go to have that thought in 30 days, you're going to say, look at what a failure I am. And lo and freaking behold, your own brain, without you trying, is going to bring a new voice to the conversation that says, but look at how cute my human is. And you as an observer are going to go, what just happened? And that is neuroplasticity in real time. You have created a neural connection that you have thought that thought so many times that now it has become automatic. So when your brain tells you you're terrible, now there's a new voice in the conversation that says, but wait a minute. And you didn't even have to force it. Guys, this will change your life. This changed my life. I'll never forget it. I'm going to give you guys one of my secret ninja hacks. Are you guys ready for this? It's called the accelerator. Write this puppy down, okay? It's called the accelerator. You stop what you're doing 3 times a day for just a minute. You can do it in the shower. You can do it on your way to work, on your way home. You can do, I don't care when. Set a reminder on your phone for just 1 minute, 3 times a day. You're going to stop what you're doing and you're going to notice all the good. You're going to notice all the beauty. You're going to notice all the enoughness. You're going to go, the sky is blue. I get to work with these clients. I have a healthy relationship. I have a safe home. Oh my gosh, like I did a really good job trying. You're just going to notice the good and the enoughness. In 90 days, when you do this accelerator, in 90 days, you will have hundreds of thousands of new neural connections popping off. Positive thoughts, positive Pollyanna. And you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be driving to work and all of a sudden your brain is going to be thinking these cheesy positive thoughts and you are going to be beside yourself because that's you and you didn't have to force it. It's not even fake. And life easier. And then you're training that Raz to see more of that. And you're shifting your energy because you're feeling that. Use the accelerator, my friends. I did it. I started noticing drastic change in my mental in 30 days and a totally 180 where I would say half my brain was negative, the other half was pleasant in 90 days. Try it for at least 30. Any questions on that? So we're going to change our relationship with mistakes. We're going to clean up how we talk to ourselves when we mess up. Setting realistic and compassionate goals. Okay, so if you're a perfectionist, honey, you reach for the stars, don't you? Like, I want to be the best. I'm going to be the best mom. I'm going to have the best body. I'm going to make all the money. I'm going to retire my husband. I'm going to take over the world. And then you literally overwhelm your system and you don't do anything. So we have a mechanism in our brains that measures effort for outcome. And if it thinks that's going to take more effort than what we're going to get for the outcome, it literally puts you in cognitive shutdown. So when you are only striving for the stars and you're not setting realistic and compassionate goals and breaking them down into baby steps, you're going to freeze and overwhelm your system because your brain is smart and it knows there's no way in hell. Why do you guys think that New Year's resolutions now only make it to January 4th? January 4th is the new date. I stopped making this shit a long time ago. I was like, your girl is not sticking to anything. Like, I'm ready to drink January 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So listen, it's because when we make New Year's resolutions, we're like, I'm going to eat clean and I'm going to exercise 5 days a week and they're going to be really intense workouts and I'm going to do it before work. And you overcome, and your brain knows that is not happening. And so it shuts you down to where it's actually doubly as hard to make it happen. Okay. So we have to set realistic goals. Now, it's okay to have a big vision. I highly encourage you have a big vision. Like, who do I want to be when I grow up? How do I want people to feel around me? What's the legacy? What's the impact? But then you reverse engineer that into milestones that we call goals, and you set baby steps. And you make your baby steps so small that it almost feels silly because your brain knows, oh, I could do that. So then you do it. And guess what happens when you do it? You feel good about yourself. You start building self-respect, integrity. You release reward hormones in your brain and body that feel good. Now you have internal inspiration to keep going. So it's important that I don't want you guys to misunderstand me. Unperfecting is not about not having big dreams and goals. It's the opposite. It's having crystal effing clear vision and having your vision be yours and channeling your time, energy, and sanity into only the things that matter, that light you up, and saying no to everything else. And then understanding your brain and your body and like working your vessel in a loving and healthy way. Shooting for the stars and then not getting there and berating yourself doesn't work. I say this to my clients every day. You cannot shame yourself skinny and you cannot shame yourself successful. If that would have worked, we would be the skinniest, most successful bitches in the universe a long time ago. You have to love yourself enough to consciously choose what matters in your life, to be protective of your energy, to set your boundaries, to hold yourself in high integrity. This is how we actually get somewhere. But it's not about like having the lowest standards and not wanting like big things in your life. It's the way that we go about it is what Unperfected is about. Okay. And then the last piece is having a growth mindset, which is really just about saying, I don't have to have it all figured out today. I can learn what I need to learn to get where I want to go. Having a growth mindset says everything is figure outable, like Marie Forleo says. My mantra is I can learn anything. I can learn anything. It might be slow AF. It might be painful, honey. You might don't watch me. This whole thing that we're doing and what it took behind the scenes to make, you guys don't want to watch that. It's ugly, but I can learn and I can try again, try different. And I can get better each time and I can refine as I go. And I'm deserving of, continuing on and carrying on. So you've got to have that same mentality of like, I don't need to know it all. I can learn what I need to know to be effective. So many talented people are not publishing the blog, writing the book, asking for the promotion, getting back out on the dating scene after divorce. And what they're not because they're waiting for more information and experience to validate. No, we're not waiting for more. We're engaging in a growth mindset that says, I'll figure it out as I go. I'm capable. I can do hard things. And then we have to celebrate the living daylights out of everything. Everything. Go back to the RAS. Remember the RAS. We're training it what to pay attention to. When you celebrate everything, oh my gosh, I made healthy choices last night. I went for a walk today. I didn't go on my phone first thing in the morning. Oh my God, a new client came in. Oh my God, a client payment came in. Oh my God, I was more patient with my daughter. Like every little thing is worthy of a celebration. And when you celebrate, you're giving your attention to these things, which are then going to grow. So celebration, we're really good at celebrating the big things, especially when they're for others. Oh, you had a major milestone? I'm going to throw you a party. Oh, you're turning 50? I'm going to throw you a party. Oh, you're getting married? I'm going to throw you a bridal shower. Oh, you got a new job? I'm going to take you out to lunch. We're great at celebrating other people, aren't we? But when was the last time that you really, at the end of your day, looked back at your day and double clicked on all the good stuff you did? So I actually want you to do this now. We're going to do a little exercise together. I want you to take a minute and I want you to write out all the little things that you're proud of that you've done today. Maybe just waking up and facing another day when you're deep in process, maybe that's what it is. Sometimes we celebrate effort. It's not only about outcomes. So take a minute and write down all the things that you've done today, you magical unicorn you. Write it out. Anybody want to drop in the chat one thing that they're proud of that they did today? Let's celebrate together. Let's get some energy up in there. See what we have. What are you proud of? What are you proud of? What are you celebrating? What can we celebrate with you? I made my bet and showed up for this masterclass. Kim, you are freaking winning at life. I gave myself permission to pause. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Let it breathe, right? I was present with my daughter before work. Oh, you guys, when we have those moments, it's so good. Let's see, myself to connect. Wait, I teed myself to connect my Gmail to my new web domain. Who am I? A genius? Probably. Oh my God. Shout out to my girls who, when we do one tech thing, we're like, wow. Wow. It feels like we unlock a whole new level of genius because yes, I'm with you. Planned, packed, and ready for a 1-week family vacation. I love it, Leslie. Where are you guys going? Taking this class, donating blood, and attending an early Pilates class. You guys, beautiful. There is nothing too big. There is nothing too small. You are extraordinary. You're doing extraordinary things. I think okay, so this is going to go a little deep. Nothing has any meaning to it until we assign meaning to it. And so how that relates to things we celebrate is somehow we've decided that it has to be this big thing in order for it to be, worthy of a celebration. We need to stop placing meaning on the wrong things. Stop making your failure mean something and stop making your successes mean something. Everything is worthy of celebration. The more we celebrate, the more we get the momentum. Okay? Let's see. My temp position was extended 2nd week in a row doing mini office workouts throughout the day. Beautiful. Beautiful. Start your day or end your day with some celebration. Okay? Blast that shit on social media. Call your mom and tell her. You think about how your kids, if you have them, just like squeal in delight when you notice something and you tell them good job. And they're like, mommy, look, mommy, look, mommy, look, mommy, look, mommy, look. And by the 900th time, you're like, oh, for crying out loud, Billy. But you're still like, cool, Chloe. And you can just see in their eyes, like, oh, mommy noticed me. We stopped doing that for ourselves. And our parents probably stopped doing that for us a long time ago. So it's so important that we celebrate ourselves and each other as women. Celebrate each other. If somebody is putting what they're proud of out there, let's cheer her on. Let's lift her up. Let's put her in the spotlight. Okay? So celebrate yourself. Those are some components to having a growth mindset. Any questions on overcoming perfectionism in these couple of ways that I've shared? Cultivating a growth mindset, setting realistic and compassionate goals, and embracing your imperfection. There's a million more things I'll teach you, but that's a great place to start. And again, guys, I'm throwing a lot of information at you. There's not going to be a pop quiz. You don't need to retain it all. I want you to grab one thing that really hits you and write it down and weave it into your world for the next 30 days. Take one thing, okay? So yes, there's 3 concepts that I'm teaching you to overcome perfectionism. Choose one little thing. Maybe you're going to reframe failures. Maybe you're going to clean up your negative self-talk. Maybe you're going to start to celebrate things. Maybe you're going to create the mantra of everything is figure outable. Maybe you're going to, every time you get frozen, take a step back and figure out what your next baby step is going to be. But just take one, okay? Any questions? All right, my friends, this one's really important. This one's a juicer, reclaiming inner peace and worth. So like I said before, perfectionism comes from a place of not enoughness, which is coming from our self-worth. And no matter what your story is, no matter what your beliefs are, no matter what trauma you've been through, you can change this. You can grow in your self-worth. You can reconnect to your inherent self-worth. Like, I believe that you've always had it. It's just been in hiding or gotten chipped away at. But like your essence, your brilliance, your brightness, your being, your light, oh, she knows. She knows how good she is. But somewhere along the way, You were like, oh, no, nope, a cut down, nope, a failure, nope, a divorce, nope, a lost job, nope. But none of us are too far gone to remember. None of us are too far gone to reconnect to our light, to reconnect to our brilliance, our inherent knowing. So in my programs, I use parts work and I teach you about your inner CEO self. And I teach you about your inner child or children, and I teach you about your protective parts. So perfectionism is actually a protective part. And there's two categories of protective parts. There's managers and firefighters. And a lot of the times, not always, it's different for everyone, but a lot of the times our perfectionist, our inner perfectionist, the part of us that drives for flawlessness is a manager. It wants to manage shit. It wants to make sure that we're safe. It wants to make sure that we're loved. It wants to make sure that we're included, that we're not left behind, that we're safe, that we're secure. And so what I love to do is really build up your, what I call your CEO self, which is your higher self. In parts work, Richard Schwartz calls it the self with a capital S. I call it the CEO self. She is the queen. She sits at the head of the table of all her other parts. She is grounded and rooted in her enoughness. She's so connected to and embodies her self-worth. She doesn't live in the past. She's not worried about the future. She knows that she has what it takes, and she knows that she's always held and supported and right on time. She is wise. She is a sage. She's a fucking badass. And she gets knocked out of the head of the table when we get triggered, whether it's by our inner child, our inner teenager, our protective parts. And so part of this work is to really reconnect with the inner CEO. Like, who am I really under all of these layers of conditioning and programming, under all of my roles and responsibilities, under all of my shitty patterns and habits to cope? Like, who is my inner CEO? That's the one that has the highest self-worth. And that's the place and the energetic that we want to lead and live our lives from. And in order to connect to that, we have to A, believe that it's there. We have to A, believe that she's always been there. Okay, we don't need to go find it. There's not more you need to do to collect worth. It's not outside of you, babe. It's inside of you. We have to know that it's already there. And then we have to get still and regulate our nervous system so we can connect to it. And so step one in reclaiming your inner peace and your worth is to learn to ground yourself, to learn to regulate your nervous system, okay? Those negative thoughts that you have that are not enough, they fire up your nervous system. That fight, flight, freeze, or shut down, that's coming from your nervous system. That anxiety, that's coming from your nervous system. So when you want to get more clarity in your life about who you are and what lights you up and what step you should take, it's not about thinking your way through it, my love. That cognitive, that new part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, that's 5% of your operating system. Your subconscious and your energy is 95%. So when you're sitting and spinning of where should I go? Should I stay in my marriage or leave? Should I stay in this career? Should I leave? What's my next business move? How am I going to make sales? How am I? And you're trying to think your way through it. That's not the move, babe. We need to feel our way through it, okay? Why do we want to run a car that only has a 5% battery? We want to run a car that has a 100% battery. So we got to drop into our subconscious, which is the deeper part of the brain and your body and our energetic system, and get the wisdom and the juice from that. How do we do that? We regulate our nervous system. How do we regulate our nervous system? The quickest and fastest way is through breath work. I have some of my breathwork sisters in the house. Shout out to my life sisters. They'll tell you. All right. And so you can do a 2-minute belly breathing, right? Which is just inhaling through the nose to the count of 4. Let's do this together. Let's do a little belly breathing together. Let's regulate in real time. Okay. So exhale any extra breath that you have in your lungs. Get it out. Inhale through the nose. Hold at the top. Open mouth, exhale to release. Inhale through the nose and hold at the top, and open mouth, exhale to release. Again, inhale through the nose, hold at the top, open mouth, exhale to release. 2 more at your own pace. Inhaling through the nose, feeling that belly expand. Holding at the top, open mouth, exhale, let it go. Last one, make it your juiciest yet. Inhale through the nose, expanding the belly, holding at the top, and open mouth exhale to release. Maybe making a sigh sound or any sound, moving your body in any way that feels good. When I get dysregulated, I immediately start slowing down my breath. I immediately start elongating my inhales. If I need more than that, I might put in some binaural, bilateral music, okay? Binaural, bilateral, or biolateral music it's music that alternates between the right and left ear, which forces your right and left hemisphere to communicate, which releases calming hormones. If I need more than that, I will breathe, have the binaural music, and then move my body, whether it's stretching or going for a walk. But I want you guys to start preventatively regulating your nervous system and reactively when you're triggered and in the moment, regulating your nervous system. And I am a fan of habit stacking because I know you don't have all the extra time in the world to do 47 new practices, but add on to what you're already doing, right? So you're waking up and you're going down to get your morning coffee. You do that every day, or you're making your coffee. Take 3 belly breaths. Everybody has to use the restroom, okay? You're sitting on the pot. 3 belly breaths. Stop looking at your phone. Nothing exciting happened on Instagram. Trust me, right? Another time that I love to take a mini pause is in between meetings, or like when I'm coming in and out of doorways. So it's like I'm leaving the house. When my hand touches a door, I pause and I breathe. I get in the car. When my hands touch the steering wheel, I pause and I breathe. I'm coming home before I come into the chaos. I go to twist the garage door. I pause and I breathe. Habit stack. Add this breath onto something you're already doing. But we're not getting enough oxygen to our brain. We're not getting enough blood flow to our brain, all right? And so this breath work is going to do a lot of stuff for you. And this is just basic stuff, okay? So we've got to access our inner calm so that we can get clarity on who we are, what we want, so that we can hear our intuition, so that we can connect with whatever spiritual thing that you're connected to, right? Like, me having a morning ritual has changed my life. Like, it's a different day if I don't have my morning ritual. How I access my best business ideas, my morning ritual, or out in nature. I don't sit down and write out and think it out. I have to receive it. So as women, I feel like we're underutilizing our gifts, which is our energy, our sensing, our intuitive nature, our ability to see what's not being said, to feel what's not being felt, our ability to collaborate and connect with people on deep levels, and then to create from that collaborative place, seeing the good, being the light, experiencing the pleasure, and then bringing that energy to the world. We're underutilizing our gifts, especially as perfectionists. As perfectionists, we're still over relying on things like discipline and hustle and grit and go no matter what. And it's burning us out. What if we were to soften just a smidgen? I'm never going to be the softest Sally in the room, okay? But when I stopped trying to force, somehow I was able to access different information that helps me in every area of my life, okay? All right. So getting to know your authentic self. Now this, friends, this is a journey. We're not going to unearth our authentic self today, okay? This is a journey home to yourself. So be nice to yourself. You don't have to have it all figured out. But if you're already starting to regulate your nervous system, if you're already creating beautiful spaces for you to just reconnect and be still, now you can start to ask yourself specific questions that help you unearth who you really are. And I love to do and introduce inner child work here. So when you're in a theta brainwave, so a calm state, you can ask yourself, you can journal, you can just think it, whatever feels right. You can say, what did I love to do when I was little? What was I known for? Like, what did people come to me for? What's the one thing, when I do it, I come the most alive. I forget about time. Time just passes by. I enter a flow state. It feels so good. I feel so present. If time, energy, and money were not a variable, what would I be doing with this one wild and precious life? Who would I be doing it with? In my programs, I created a visualization meditation for you to connect with this information. But again, figuring out who you are underneath all your, perfectionism is a journey. It's a process, but it's an unpeeling and an unveiling. It's not a out there, go find it. It's a How do I help myself see what's always been here? Do you guys know what I'm saying when I say that? Yeah. Does going out in nature and going on a hike help me connect? Sure. Does going on a retreat help me feel alive? Yes. Those things are beautiful and juicy, but it's like rediscovering who you really are. You can start with these practices in your home now. They're not out there, they're inside of you. But you've got to, like, what I call declutter the gutter. You've got to clear out the mental noise. You got to clear out the conditioning. You got to regulate your nervous system. And then you got to ask these deep and juicy questions. The quality of your life is dependent upon the quality of your questions. Are you asking yourself juicy quality questions like, who the F am I? Am I happy? What do I want? What's holding me back? Where am I getting in my own way? Where have I said yes when I should have said no? What would I be doing if time, money, and energy weren't a variable? Why am I not going after that? What is my soul calling me to do? What can I do to honor that more? This is how we start to peel back the layers to our authentic expression, okay? And again, it can be baby step by baby step, you know? And if you're not sure at all, if you're like, Brooke, I have no idea who I am anymore. Seriously, I have no idea what I want. Try some new things. Go to a dance class. Take a belly dancing class. Take a pottery class. Buy a new book. Listen to a different podcast. Take a different route to work. Take a different walk after work. Listen to some different music. Put it on a shuffle and see what comes up. Just start to pay attention to what in your life feels good in your body versus what makes you clinch, okay? My coach and mentor loves to say, like, what gives you a wedgie? Like, that's not it. If your butt is grabbing onto your undies, that's not it, right? If you're clenching, that's not it. What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel open? What makes you feel turned on? Nips hard, okay? That's what we're following. And it's okay if you don't know. Just start noticing, hey, in my life, when I'm dancing, oh yeah, that's a nips hard. When I'm brushing my daughter's teeth at night, yeah, that's a clench. Okay, there are still going to be some things that we have to do. I might still have to make sure my daughter brushes her teeth, but do I need to go to every single social engagement? Do I need to show up to every single thing? Do I need to do what every other entrepreneur is doing? Do I need to have sex this amount of times with my partner? Do I need to do these workouts? No. Follow what feels good in your body. Follow what turns you on. You're going to start to unpack and start to do some journal prompting about what you loved to do when you were little. Anybody want to share in the chat? Share in the chat something that you loved to do when you were little that you know is core to your authentic self and you are ready to reconnect to that version of you. Drop it in the chat. Mine was dancing and performing, singing. Also, frolicking in the ocean and boogie boarding. Nothing makes a girl feel more alive than frolicking in the ocean. What else? What did you guys love to do when you were children? Nips hard. Yeah. Kim, listen, that is my new moral compass. Anybody that's really in my world right now knows about the nips hard. It's got to make the nips hard or I'm out. I'm out. Reading, playing with plants and flowers. Love it. Your little green thumb. I love it. Riding horses, ice, and roller skate. We need to go roller skating, bitch. Bike rides. Yes. Nothing makes you feel more free. Making art just to make art. Yes, dude. Yes. Yes. What else? What else? You guys, these are so good. Like, do you feel as you're reading this, like making art, riding horses, ice skating, roller skating, bike riding, listening to music, reading, playing with plants, draw, paint, playing in dirt. Like, what's happening in your body as you read these things? You can feel that, right? You can feel the nips hard. You can feel like, yeah, picnics and sitting in the grass, summer camp. Oh my God, I feel a retreat idea coming on, Christine. Summer camp, baby. Yes, yes. Part of the reason why we're miserable, and maybe you're not miserable, but I was really miserable for a long time. Part of the reason why we're unfulfilled is because we've lost touch with those things that made us feel alive when we were little, and they're no longer present. We're not dancing. We're not singing. We're not going fishing. We're not going to summer camp. But we can, right? We can weave some of that into our world. I just took a fly fishing class and loved it. I love that for you, Noella. I'm obsessed with that for you. Why are we telling ourselves that we can't do these things? Now, not all of them are going to be totally feasible. Hours and hours of club dance. Listen, your girl shut that shit down, okay? I went ahead and shut it down and then went to the after party and kept it going. I'm with you, babe. But now I just do club dancing from 6 to 8 p.m. in my kitchen, right? Or in the dance class at the gym, or just like frolicking around life. If you guys could just follow me around, it's half walking, half boogieing, because it makes me happy, because it makes me feel like myself. And from that energetic, it's easier for me to show up as the wife, as the mom, as the leader I want to be. Beautiful. So connect to what you love to do as an inner child. And the last one, reclaiming your inner peace and worth, is creating a balanced and fulfilling life, which this just looks like, are you giving yourself permission to do the things that light you up? What's your mindset around self-care? Have you placed the meaning of selfishness onto self-care? Do you have a story or a narrative or beliefs that tell you self-care is selfish, or that there's no time for that, or that there's no budget for that? That's not true. If it's the most important thing, then we will find the resources that we need. It might not be all of them, right? I can't do clubbing and horseback riding all in 1 week or 1 month or even 1 year, but I can work on my mindset that self-care is essential. I can start my day with a morning ritual. Then I can carve out a couple dance classes. Then I can, you start small and then you grow and create more space for yourself. But I think we first have to start with this idea that we're allowed to. Like I was sharing this, I don't remember if it was on my podcast or what, but I have been doing this work forever. I have a partner who's very involved. I still feel bad when he's with our daughter for like a long stretch of time, not because he makes me feel bad, or I still like rush. Like if I'm going to leave Chloe home and go to the grocery store and maybe I have to get gas, like your girl is like rushing, and I catch myself and I'm like, what am I doing? Because I watch my husband, when he goes to do something, it takes his ass 20 minutes to just get into the garage and back out of the garage. I've never seen anyone so slow. Okay. And I'm like, oh, he's not in a hurry. What's that like to not be in a hurry? Why am I rushing? It's like, even though I've done all this work to like shed the shoulds and reprogram my subconscious mind and give myself grace, and I believe wholeheartedly that self-care is actually the vehicle to my success. It's not just a luxury, it's an essential. And yet I still fall into this trap that I am rushing around, hurrying such that I run into walls. What is this? That's how deep the conditioning is, babe. So when I'm saying the first step in creating a balanced and fulfilling life is to just change your mindset around self-care, that's actually a powerful step. Where can you give yourself permission? How can you claim space on the family calendar? How can you communicate to your partner that you're going to take 2 dance classes a week, or yoga or spin or art or book like club or whatever tickles your fancy? But you have to create a personalized plan that works for you. And it starts with understanding that your self-care is essential and that you are deserving of that. And that the more that you pour into your vessel, the more you can pour into others. And then you claim some space, and then you claim more and more and more and more. Okay. So let me move this. So here's the scoop. I want you to go back to the beginning, and I want you to think about why you signed up for this course. Why did you sign up for this training in the first place? You wanted a shift. You wanted more ease. You wanted a different internal dialogue. You wanted some inspiration. You wanted some energy. You wanted some clarity. Why did you sign up for this training? What is it that you're ready to do different? What is calling you forward? Okay? Because at this point, you have one of 2 options, my love. Option number 1 is to keep doing what you're doing, to stay on the hamster wheel, to keep striving for perfection, to keep feeling like it's not enough, to keep, being in your shame spiral, to keep trying and burning yourself out, deeply unfulfilled. Option number 2 is to start really doing this work, to start to transform your internal landscape so you can transform your external reality, so you can shed the shoulds and peel back the layers, reconnect to your essence, know who you are, decide what you want. Use your precious jewels, time, energy, and sanity on the things that matter, and rest easy at night knowing it's enough. It truly is enough. Most of the perfectionists I work with, they're like, Brooke, all I want is to just know it's enough. That's what this work is about. And so I want to introduce you guys to my new program. I've created an e-course. I hope you guys are so proud because it's been a journey, baby, but she's here. She's here. This is my first official online course. It's called Unstuck and Unstoppable, Reclaiming Your True Worth and Inner Peace. And it's where I take everything that we just talked about to the next level. Okay. I teach you. So this course is designed to guide you through a transformative journey from being stuck in perfectionistic tendencies to embracing your true worth, ultimately leading you to a more balanced, fulfilled, and authentic life. How does it work? So number one, you decide. You join the movement. You invest in yourself by investing in this course. You do a little freaking happy dance because some shit's about to change. You're about to be in my world and you're about to transform. You set aside an hour a week to complete the course. You put it on your calendar. You protect it fiercely. You buy a beautiful notebook and your favorite pens, and you start. And you also join a community of other like-minded women who are down to do the same thing. Okay. So let's talk about what's in the course. There's 5 modules. Okay. So the first module is getting to the root of your perfectionism, identifying the manager, really getting to know your manager part, really getting to know your CEO self, really getting to know your inner child, and starting to do the healing and the integration to calm them down. Okay. Module 2 is breaking free from the mindset. So here's where I'm going to actually guide you through setting your vision of your life, reverse engineering your goals, deciding what your baby steps are. Module 3 it's a deeper look at resilience. All right. This is where we go deep into the reprogramming of the subconscious mind, to the regulation of the nervous system, rewiring your brain, things like that. Module 4, creating a balanced and fulfilled life. This is where I will help you and guide you to create your own plan for self-care. This is where I give you some time management training. All right. So there's always time for what matters most, but I have real tools that I've learned throughout my career that I teach you in this module so that you can be tenacious with your time. We also talk about building community in there. And then module 5 is embracing your true worth and moving forward. And this is all identity work. This is deciding who you're becoming, identifying with that version of you, building that inner CEO, making sure that we're operating from the place of the CEO, building unshakable self-worth from the ground up. There's exercises and guides to help you do just that. Celebrating, and also there's like a self-discovery journey of figuring out who you really are and what your values are and what your guiding lights should be. So this program, my loves, is valued at over $6,000. Okay. It's 5 modules of pre-recorded. It's a kickoff call live. We've added a couple bonuses. So I've recorded a special visualization meditation, a brand new one for you. We have another bonus called the Brain Health Reboot, which is just how to take better care of your brain to optimize your mental and emotional health. And then I've created a 10-day guide to self-compassion. And then there's also a live coaching call with me to kick off the program. And so I want to remind you guys where I started out before I started this journey, right? Working the 50 hours, eating, drinking, and spending, waking up in a shame spiral, never feeling like it's enough, doubling down on the perfectionism, burning out at 33, to now literally half my dumb days are self-care. You guys would be like, does this queen, what is she doing? But I truly believe that if half my day is pouring into me, then the other half for my family, for my clients, for my community is freaking potent. But most importantly is that I'm actually like, I like the person that I see in the mirror. And I feel like those of you that have known me a long time, you can sense that in me right now. You can feel that online. You're like, something's happening in her. It's like, I'm doing this work with you. I'm starting to like what the fuck I see in the mirror. And that's getting me really amazing results. So I want to share that with you guys. I want to teach you. So this program is going to be $1,111, but we're offering a time sensitive offer. So for today and the next 5 days, it's $555. So the cost of 2 therapy sessions, you can join this program. You can start your transformation. Get in my world. Let's freaking go. I can't wait to see you there. You guys will get, tomorrow, you're going to get an email with the link to this that you can have forever. So you can come back to it whenever you want. You will also get a link for the Unstuck and Unstoppable, with the time-sensitive offer, the $555. There's also payment plans available. You can make it in 2 payments. But I want to open it up. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? Maybe put in the chat, what is your takeaway so we can support you on your journey? I'm also going to drop in the chat my website so you can find the program Unstuck and Unstoppable there now under services. Any questions, comments? What's your takeaway, babes? What's your takeaway? What's the one thing you're going to do different? And if you have to jump off, I totally understand. It's 1:31. So if you have to jump off, I just want you to know, mwah, 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 mwah. I love you. Thank you for being here. How many weeks is the class? Okay, it's self-paced, Noella, but it's 5 modules that I recommend you do 1 per week. So the welcome is going to be 1 week, and then the 5 modules will be 5. So it's about a 6-week program in general, but you'll have lifetime access to the program. So you can do it at your own pace. Yes, not feeling guilty for making space for yourself. I love you, Kim. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. All right, you guys. I'm sending you so much love. I'm so proud of you for being here. I hope there's something you got from this that you can put in your back pocket and weave it into your world. I hope that you give yourself permission to be the youest you've ever been. And you guys know where to find me. If you have any questions, comments, shares, just DM me on Instagram. And I'll see you guys later. Bye for now. Hey, mama, if you made it to the end of this episode, I just want to virtually high five you because you've said yes to the opportunity of taking better care of yourself. And that is so meaningful and so amazing. You have no idea the ripple of goodness that's to come. If you've been enjoying the show, if you've been finding it helpful, if you've laughed a little or learned a new technique, will you do me a favor? Will you make sure that you're following the show, that you've given us a 5-star rating and left a review? That will absolutely help us get this podcast into more heads and hearts of as many mamas as possible. Because when we heal the mother, we heal the world. Also, if there's a specific episode that you've loved, will you make sure to share it with a friend? Just send them the link or share it on social media and make sure you tag me at Brooke Jean Unperfected because I absolutely love seeing that this is actually giving you the impact that you so desire and deserve. Thank you so much, mamas. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves and therefore each other.